Hi everyone, it's Kerry. Welcome back to my channel, and for those who are just seeing my channel for the first time, welcome here. This particular video is going to be about Madison and Kaylee and Xana and Ethan. The last few mornings I've been woken up fairly early from Spirit with some information. What I will say is I have seen a news report, a news update about this particular case. So I know a little bit about it. I haven't really dug into it at all. But following a meditation, I received a whole lot of information that I wrote down. And the reason, normally I'd sort of sit on it a bit and check on really that I'm feeling strongly about the information that I've got, that I'm actually interpreting it correctly. That's probably more the way I would work. But Spirit was saying to me, this one is time is of the essence. They were really saying to me, no, do something with this now, because otherwise some key leads or information could be lost. And I'm hoping that the right people may see this video, or it's shared, that it may trigger some memories or information. So I'm obviously doing the best I can to interpret correctly the information that I'm getting. I may be off on a few things, and I will let you know what I feel really strongly about, and those things that I really do think I need some more clarification on. But it was important that I share this information now. So I wrote down the information that I received, so I'm just going to share that with you. So the first thing that Spirit brought through was that definitely the house was being watched. This has been over a period of time. It could even be months, you know, so this has been a building situation. So while I don't feel that this was what I would call, someone they know really well, I think it's someone that they know of or would recognize, so they would see them around fairly regularly. But they have been watched for quite a period of time. And there was a trigger here for the person who did this horrible crime. There was a trigger. Now, I'm not saying at all that I agree at all with what their perception was, but I am going to share what I believe that trigger was, because I think that may be helpful in identifying who this person is. I also received a connection. Well, here's what's interesting. I saw a vision in my mind of an ex-partner of mine who was in the military. So either that was for me to pick up or interpret that there may be a military link to this person, or it could be to do with the person's name or their look. So it could be that the name is Chris, or it could be, look, I feel it's those two things. I don't really think it's the look unless they're shorter. So I'm thinking maybe 5'8", not overly tall. So it could be one of those things. And that's why I'd normally sit on it, so that I can work with the information and get the right direction as to the information and how I'm interpreting it. But it could be one of those three things. What I need to say is that this was very methodical and it was planned. In fact, you know, like it was extremely well planned out. Like different scenarios were thought of, different ways things could have been played out was thought of. It was definitely a planned event that took place. Now, this was a male. I was feeling a male, could be between 35 and 45, maybe a little bit older, but maybe they look younger. So there was that feeling of that age range there. You know, that sort of middle period. That certainly not their age, right? Certainly not, and I don't feel that they were a student. So definitely that little bit older. Also felt that they lived nearby as well. So very familiar with the area, and they live in the area, and I feel that they're still in the area. So they knew the house, they had watched for a while. I also felt that someone may have moved rooms, or where he thought people were wasn't where they were. So there's some confusion. So either someone moved rooms or he had it wrong. So, you know, just if that helps at all, or if there's a link there. But in the planning, I had dark clothing, possibly wearing a, you know, black beanie, possibly even like, you know, the COVID mask, but black, you know, so for the face mask. So it was very stealth. It was very planned out, very calm. There was no emotion involved in this. So you would think, you know, up close and personal like that, it could be, you know, to do with passion or you know, a close relationship with somebody. But I don't feel that here. I actually just feel that there wasn't a lot of connection in that way. It was something about them that triggered them, and there was a particular person that had triggered them. Okay, so what else I've got here? Just let me look at my notes. Said that, bit of a medical. Now, with the clothing afterwards, I do feel like they've put it in a bag, but I'm not sure that they've actually thrown it away. I don't know that they've disposed of it. And the shoes that they were wearing as well, I don't feel like they got rid of those. But I think that if there were any footprints or marks that were left behind, it's going to be deceiving, because I feel like they've actually almost like used a sandpaper or something to ground down the shoes. So the pattern is not going to match a standard pattern. It's going to be different if there was something found. But there was very meticulous care taken in doing this, and making sure that they were reducing any links to them or leaving any DNA or any prints or any trace of them behind. And I think they've been very careful with that. There was something that came up about dog hair as well. Now, I know that there was, I did hear on a report something, or I've seen a short video with them and they had a dog, but I also feel the perpetrator had a dog. So dog hair may not have been collected as part of evidence recovery during that period because of the dog in the house. But I do think that there was a dog hair transfer that was different to their dog. So I don't know if that will be picked up forensically or not. Okay, and I also have them feeding the dog when they were there. Like, you know, they've been building a rapport with the dog there as well by giving them treats. So they've been to this place more than once. Not as an invited guest or inside, but they've been around the premises. Okay, so just checking my notes here. Now, I do believe that they were in that bar, the corner bar, that same night. But I don't think that they left at the same time or at the closing time of that. I feel like they left a lot earlier, and that was part of their plan. So I feel that Spirit was bringing that through as being important, because I do think that there is some surveillance footage, but I actually think they're looking at the wrong time frame. They need to look a lot earlier, because this was definitely planned. And I actually feel he could have been there before they even got there. So there is a link there too, because he definitely went before and it was definitely planned out. Now, this was like the opportunity to do it. The perpetrator was very well aware that it was coming up to the end of the year, end of the semester. People would be going away. This was their opportunity to do it. They've been planning it for a while, and this was the timing for it. So they weren't waiting around to follow them. They weren't followed from leaving that bar, the two girls. I feel that the perpetrator could have already been there, well ahead of them or ahead of them and waiting. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, I'm just going to give you exactly what I've been given here. Now, look, I don't agree with this personally. This is not my personal opinion, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to look for a motive and asking for the angels to explain to me what triggered this, because it is someone from a distance. It's not someone they know. Why were they being watched or followed or, okay, right now I'm getting the word stalked. Why were they stalked? And I think it's one person in particular, but I think both Madison and Kaylee were a focus here. The two of them together, because I feel like two peas in a pod, right? So there was a trigger with the two of them, one more than the other, which I think was apparent, but I think they're very close, right? So I think there's also a trigger between both of them. Now, the words that came through when they looked and why they became a target, why they were the person, there's a trigger here. And I think this could relate to their own personal pain or hurt around a previous relationship. Now, this person may have been in a long-term relationship or previously married, and the person that they were with might have had a similar look to the girls. That's sort of the feeling. They also had a very similar outgoing, bubbly, personality. So very would talk to people and chat to people and confidence and, so similar personality. And I believe that this person has hurt them. They either cheated on them in that relationship or cheated on them in the marriage, and they just saw them as their previous partner as a tease and a flirt and disloyal and, wrapped up in all those things. So I think there could be an attitude of anger against women for that sort of behaviour or that sort of outgo. It was definitely a trigger. And I think in watching them, probably seeing them in the bar multiple times, right? So might know the look of them, or there might be a regular there, or, so there is that connection definitely. But so what it was in the trigger for this was I got the word show pony, sort of saw the girls as show ponies, as saw them as flirts. Now, certainly smart and beautiful, acknowledge that they were smart and they were beautiful, but they used it to their advantage. So they saw them as teasers and flirts, and that was very triggering for this person, and that's how they honed in and became a target with this, which is really sad, because they were just having fun, really. And I don't see that, they talk to people and they're obviously pretty girls. So they would have drawn some attention. But they were lovely as well. So, I don't think it was to do with that. I think it's his internal trigger that when he sees this sort of outgoing behaviour and talking and he relates that to the previous situation. So you're looking for someone. And I also think that there could have been previous charges or accusations of assault in a previous relationship. So I think that could be a link as well, and a bit of a lead as to who this person may be. Now, they're liked and unassuming as well. Like, I don't think anyone has connected this particular person for that reason. They don't stand out. They certainly don't feel like, they're strange or creepy, or I'm not getting that feeling around them. So they probably just blend in. But that's what triggered this person, and that's how they became a target. Watch them over a period of time, talking to people, or what they would say was flirting or showing off or wanting that male attention, and that triggered them. Now, I don't think that's how they really played at all. I just think it's how that person perceived it, from those previous things. So maybe a level of PTSD there as well, because it's almost like it became obsessive anger and hate and despise of that behavior, So, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Please don't take it, as bad way against the girls. I don't at all. I'm just trying to share the trigger and the perception of that particular person, the perpetrator that did this. So I'm sharing that. Now, I'm still getting, and I wrote down again, there is surveillance footage. There is, this person is there. You may even be able to see from the footage, even within that bar area. Now, they, as I said, they left a lot earlier. So if you look at the footage from a lot earlier in that evening, you may even catch someone looking at them with that look of, oh, disgust or disdain, you know, to one side of what's going on in the area. So you may be able to sort of pick up and follow that as a bit of a lead or a trail as to who this person is. I do feel like they were waiting for them there, that they were already there. I do get that very strongly. I also feel that they were very patient. They were very focused. They'd already gone through scenarios in their mind. You know, I'm not sure where they went first or who was where within the house, but it's almost like they knew where to hide and to be, and it was very, very quick in as far as knowing what they were going to do. It wasn't spur of the moment by any chance. Sorry, I'm hesitating because I'm actually getting more information through as I'm actually saying this. So I think that when it actually happened, it was, they'd been home for a while. They might have been home for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before this actually happened. So they waited and they were there already. So that's a long time to wait, but they were very stealth, and where they were in the home, I'm not sure, but I don't feel like I'm walking upstairs. I feel like I'm on that main level somewhere. But definitely waiting. They could have had some medical training or a medical background. The reason why I don't think a lot was heard, because I do believe that the first inflicted wound on each of the four, and I'm really sorry to say this, stop them from being able to speak. And I'm not going to say any more than that. I'm sure you can work out perhaps what that wound was. But it stopped them from being able to voice anything. So that's why I don't think that a lot was heard. I also feel that like it wasn't expected either. They were. I do feel like that he waited till they were asleep, definitely asleep, and possibly asleep for a little while to make sure. And from there, it was fairly quick, one to the other. I almost feel like you're thinking, wow, it went to plan. Oh, I just feel sick saying that. I feel sick saying it because it wasn't sexually motivated. I'm going to say that it was out of hate. It was out of just that he just despised what they represented, which seemed to be a link to the ex that triggered. And it was mainly those two girls. Why the other two were targeted? Look, Spirit gave me some information on this, but I don't know. I would really need more clarification on it. But I think they weren't the target at all, and didn't start off being one of the targets or where this person was going at all. But I think in waiting and in waiting for everyone to sort of go to sleep, I think he heard the other couple. They might have been kissing or making out or, doing what young teenagers do, young adults do. And it just annoyed him. And I hate to say that. I think it just annoyed him. So they became part of it. And that's a horrible, and no reason. Obviously this person has significant mental issues. So, you know, I just feel that that's horrible, but that was why they became a target as well. Oh boy. I did hear, now I'm not sure whether it was they have done this before or they haven't done this before. So I'm just going to leave that one there. I'm not going to go into whether this is a continuous thing or whether this was something that just triggered and something that they played out that they'd been thinking about for a long time. I'd need to go back and really check that I'm interpreting that correctly. So I don't want to say one way or the other. The perpetrator really felt that, you know, they were just heartbreakers. They were going to break the hearts of a lot of men, and that they were going to do it all their lives, and that's how he saw them, and that was what the motivation was. And he actually saw that he's just doing the world a favour, doing men a favour, which, you know, obviously the mental thought processes behind that are unfathomable, because no one deserves this. No one deserves what happened to them. It was a horrible, hate-filled attack. And I pray for every one of them, and all the families, because it's, you know, a terrible situation and just wasn't called for. Look, in trying to go through and hone in on perceiving the information that I was getting that may provide a better lead, I just don't feel that police have a clear lead in this, and I'm not surprised because this person is very unassuming. There's not a lot to connect the dots here, or that they would be suspected, but I do feel that there's a work link here as well. So either they work at the university or around the university, could even be in a cafe or a kitchen, because I'm seeing knives, but it could also be that they have a fascination with knives. So again, early information, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing around this person, but I also feel that there's a link there as well as to where they actually work. They're not far away. I felt like they walked. It's all within walking distance. I didn't see or feel a vehicle at all through this. I'm not saying they don't have one. I just didn't see it as part of it. And they're still in the area. So really calm that, look, no one's really connecting the dots with this particular person at this point in time. So that's why I feel that that's there. There is work related to the university. So whether it's on staff at the university, whether it's working in like a cafe or somewhere else in the university, there's a link there. But also, this is a strong link to knives, so could be to do with kitchen work, or they've got a real fascination, or this was an unusual weapon that was used. They've still got that weapon. Now, they also showed me that this was not rushed in leaving either. I really felt, and my last notes here, that they cleaned up. I feel that they washed off the weapon. Like, they didn't get rid of that weapon. There's something about it. They may have I also feel that they took something from the scene as well, something personal. So there is that link as well. So, look, just to recap, and I just did the main dot points here, so that's what I'll leave with. I do believe that this was planned and thought out. I don't believe it was a close friend or anyone in their close inner circle of associates. However, I do believe it's someone that they would recognise or see as familiar. The perpetrator knew that if they were going to do this, that would need to be soon because of where the break was coming up, and they saw this as their opportunity. I think that going to that corner pub was something they did often, and so it was known that that would be a fairly regular thing to do. And that person had seen them there several times, that they left earlier and that they were in wait for them. They didn't come in after they were asleep, which the patience of this person, I just want to say obsessed, single-minded focus is what's coming through with that. I do feel that they're sort of around the age of maybe 35, but may look younger. I do think that there is a link to PTSD or known mental health, but people just see them as a good person. But there could be an assault charge or a charge that was laid but dropped to do with that previous relationship that was described, and they're still in the area. They haven't left the area. So, God, angels, please keep the families in your care and comfort during this time. Please help the authorities to follow these leads and bring some justice. And may the angels also surround them right now for Kaylee and Madison and Ethan and Xana. So may the angels be with them and help them transition at this time as well, after such a traumatic way to leave. My heart just goes out to everyone involved and to the friends there as well. Thank you for watching. I hope this information helps. If you have any questions you'd like me to ask Spirit, I'm going to do another session, probably not today, maybe in a couple of days' time. I'm just trying to make sure I'm perceiving things correctly. I'm going to do a list of questions, and then I'll use the divination rods to try and get some yes-no answers to try and validate some of this information that came through. But as I said, Spirit was saying it's urgent to get it out there. Time is of the essence if they are going to bring this horrible perpetrator to justice. Thank you, everyone. God bless and take care.